EROT.
Multi-shaded pieces all refined by the same words we've heard our ancestors speak.
We are strong.
Undying in a world
that wants for us so desperately to be silent.
Concrete. To refine and withstanding to be anyone's forgotten cross.
Let us be your refuge.
Skilled in the anatomy of our pens,
our ink paints 3D pictures.
We make illusions into illustrations, framed by the words your diary scripted yesterday.
Had it not been for this majestic art form, we have become well-versed in.
All right, EROT stands for Ebony Readers, Onyx Theater. We are a subgroup of BSM. Originally, EROT was two separate groups. There were Ebony Readers, and then there was Onyx Theater. Onyx Theater was founded in 1971. Ebony Readers was founded in 1972. In the year of 1979, the two groups consolidated, and for the past 43 years, we have been EROT. EROT is such a diverse group. While we are a subgroup of BSM, we are not limited to just African American students. We have such a diverse crowd, varying from race diversity to religion to everything. These students are so creative. We're all creative. We all bring something different to the group, and it's just a wonderful thing to be a part of, to have so much different energies coming in. Being at such a large school, a large PWI, and having such a small minority population, it can be easy to get lost in this big thing that is Carolina. And EROT does a good job of telling people we are here and we have stuff to say and we have things to talk about. And that's what EROT does for us. It gives us a space to speak about those things, to talk about issues that are concerning to us as minority students.
Tired of being treated as if black is a social handicap. Like slaying my dialect is a speech impediment. Or if you can cock your head at just the right angle and make the R sound just a little longer, then girl, you can finally speak so that I can understand. While I see swag in my brother's walk, you see a cripple in need of crutches. You shoot at him because you treat his dark.
I always say that poetry saved my life, which basically just means that, like, when I first started writing when I was 13, I was really like this angsty teenager, and I was really upset all the time. And one day I was sitting in 8th grade math class, I remember this very vividly, and it was almost like, okay, so like not like in a crazy way, like I didn't hear voices in my head, but it was kind of like I had like words and like rhymes going on. So I just started writing them down, and at first it felt very silly, but then after a while I realized that it kind of made me feel better. I kind of like to say that to put the feelings on paper, I kind of like, I always say I write the words down because they can't live inside me anymore. So if you don't want to talk about it, or if you still kind of like want to get it out, to me it's a private way. At first it was a private way of me being able to get it out, and I think now through spoken word, it's a more public way of me still expressing myself. I think it's a really good place for people to like kind of see like a creative outlet. I think spoken word is great for pretty much talking about any topic. It's a great form of entertainment. I know personally I enjoy spoken word. I always have, even since before I did it. I think it really moves people, and I think it also kind of like breaks up the monotony of college itself, and like not having to like be super serious sometimes, because sometimes the poems are funny, you know, and you kind of need a break from class and it's fun, or sometimes maybe you're going through something really difficult and you hear a poem about it, and it kind of makes you feel like you're not alone in it and someone else can relate to you as well. It makes you feel better, I think. It kind of gets lost a little bit that like what EROT was originally made for, what we stand for. We of course are multicultural. We are not going to discriminate on anyone based on their race. We are like kind of majority black right now, but not by like a large portion, like a large margin, I mean. So it's not like we discriminate or anything like that. We mostly just like to find poets who can talk about the issues that are still really important to the black community, especially the black students here on campus. So a lot of times we always perform at like the first BSM meeting where they have lots of performances by their subgroups. We always perform there. We perform at lots of other different like kind of like multicultural events. So I think the Carolina community sometimes gets lost and thinks that we're strictly spoken word, but we have kind of like this duty to also create a community for the black students to understand that we understand their issues, and we're providing an outlet to kind of like have their issues be heard in a different way than just like a forum, or because BSM's other student groups kind of do it through different mediums. So like their subgroup Harmonics does it through music. We just do it through spoken word.
Flag do we pledge allegiance to? How dare I wrap my heart in 50 stars and 13 stripes when my nephew is more likely to grow up gunned down like Mike Brown? I I pledge allegiance to love and family.
In God.
In God.
In God, so I must trust.
I pledge allegiance to God and humanity, and I accept all the responsibilities therein. You don't have to be revolutionary to be respectful.
But this country is too fond of placing dichotomies where they don't belong.
These stories have etched lines across our nation's
And
manuscript.
coloring outside of these lines are sure to get you erased. So, here we are.
This is our nation.
I'm a first-generation student, as in my parents were born in India and then they immigrated here, and I was born here, so I'm the first generation of our family that was born and raised in America. And I think that I don't have many friends who have that similar experience, and because of that, I don't exactly have the strongest support network of the first generation experience that I could have here. I think that EROT has definitely increased my cultural competence. I think in high school I was definitely not very connected to African American communities because we didn't really have many African American students on our high school campus. And I think EROT, given that it's a subgroup of the Black student movement, has definitely given me many more opportunities to engage with African American college students at UNC, and I think that's definitely increase my competence in being able to understand different cultures, being aware. I think that having a group dedicated to Black voices and dedicated to spoken word poetry is important, because if those spaces are not explicitly and deliberately created, then they often don't exist. So if there wasn't an organization like this, then most of the voices that people would hear on campus would be white voices.
Stop telling these Black girls they are beautiful. Please, pity them. Regard them as the disregarded. Disrespect them. Brown paper bag test them. I suggest you reduce them down to groups of taboo who's, jigaboos, and leave a few spots for the Jezebels.
My ideal vision for Carolina, I know that this school prides itself on diversity, but I would love for people to actually understand what diversity means. It's not just recruiting African American students or Asian students. It's about coming together after you get them here and understanding where they come from, understanding what they've been through, and communicating these experiences so that everyone understands what it means to be a minority student.
Well, I will say that I love the Carolina community. I really love this whole idea of the Carolina way. I think at orientation I was really oh my god, it's gonna be the best experience ever. But I think Carolina's moving in all the right directions. I think what it needs to do is kind of listen to the students, realize what it is that they want/need, and kind of pay more attention to that. But listen to the things that matter to us. So listen to why we don't like Silent Samurai, why we don't like Saunders being named something specific. Or listen to, I don't know, Chispa when they're talking about, Hispanic students' needs, or make sure that everyone is feeling comfortable in this space and that it's a community for everybody, and that you're not catering to certain groups just because of certain reasons like money or systems of oppression or anything like that.
Stories as powerful as these need a venue in which they can be freely expressed and heard by the Carolina community. Members of EROT currently perform in the Center for Dramatic Arts. However, they do not have a permanent place to congregate and facilitate their artistic needs. We propose that the basement of the Sonia B. Hayes Stone Center for Black Culture and History be transformed into a safe and creative space that can be utilized by EROT and other underrepresented voices on campus.
You're gonna spread your wings and away you'll fly. You'll find your direction through the good times and hard times. So hush, little baby, and don't you cry.